Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. I'm back for the attack. This is going to be a political video. This video is brought to you by Blade Reviews 101. He's been a long-time subscriber of mine. He kind of, he busted my balls a little bit, and he's like, look, where's the political rants? Come on now. And I told him, I said, tell me what you want me to rant about. Tell me what you want me to discuss, and I'm down with it, and I will do a video just for you. By the way, there will be a link below to his YouTube channel. Please go check him out. He's all kinds of awesome. You will enjoy his channel, although he needs to start making videos his own damn self. He's got some pretty cool videos up there. You're going to like them. All right, so I asked him what he wanted as far as what kind of political discussion he wanted topic-wise, and he said, your call. Make it a kind of a general around the world, around the globe thing. I'm not going to do that, but I will tell you I got a couple of topics that have been kind of at the top of my radar, that have been really kind of irking me a bit. Actually, that list is really long, but we're just going to take the top ones for the moment. The first is going to be immigration. And, I think that if you've been paying any kind of attention for the last several years, you know that none of this is a surprise. The fact that we are now basically an open borders country, we have no borders, it's not a surprise. If you look at the money that was behind Barack Obama when he first ran for president, you could spot, where this was going. For example, George Soros. George Soros, who is a huge open borders guy, he's been calling for the United States to abolish its borders and let everybody in forever. Because he loves the U.S. so much. he loves. It's funny, George Soros. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this idiot, but George Soros, who's a billionaire, some of you know who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Google him. It's an interesting puppet behind the situation. George Soros came over to the West and made a shit ton of money utilizing capitalism and manipulating currencies and all of this stuff. And now that he's a billionaire, and towards the twilight of his life, he's decided that his legacy should be turning the whole globe into one communist state. One world communist state. Not United States of America, not the UK, not even Mexico. One big giant cesspool of liberalism. One big communist satellite for the world, for the universe. Satellite for the universe. So, when he was supporting Barack Obama, and he supports, of course, Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and all these people, these are where they get a lot of their money from. It shouldn't surprise you that now you're starting to see policies that are being forwarded that have a kind of a Soros-esque feel to it. Listen, our southern border is FUBAR. It's absolutely FUBAR. And for those of you who don't know what FUBAR means, Google it. Okay, we have absolutely no borders between us and Mexico now. And the thing that really kind of pisses me off about, well, there's a ton of shit that pisses me off about that. But the Mexico southern border has been and forever been on lockdown, tight lockdown. They have some of the strictest immigration laws on the planet. Mexico does. I mean, you illegally enter their country, you're going to prison. Okay, but for some strange reason, the southern border of Mexico seems to be very porous now. And as long as none of these Central American immigrants stop in Mexico, the Mexican government seems to be okay with them kind of traveling on through. Thanks a lot, Mexico. Yeah, appreciate it, you fucks. But nobody should be surprised about any of this. All this is by design. And I'm not trying to be some kind of weird conspiracy theory guy, but listen, this was all set in motion. If you were one of those people who blindly voted for Barack Obama for whatever ridiculous reason you had, whether that was because you didn't believe in the war in Iraq, whether it was because you didn't believe in the war on terrorism, whether it was because of a million different reasons. Maybe it was because you felt it was time to have the first African-American president, or maybe you just wanted everybody to think that you weren't a racist. Whatever freaking reason you had for voting for Barack Obama, had you been paying attention, and had you opened up your eyes, and had you looked where the money was coming from, you would have seen exactly, you could predict what was going to happen within his presidency. Now, of course, there are certain things you can't really do in your first term, but the second term's always a bitch, and I tried to tell people this guy's second term would be extremely dangerous for this country. It's kind of right. I mean, outside of buying up all the ammunition and keeping it from the people, opening up our border for a flood of illegal immigrants or undocumented, whatever. They're illegals. They're all criminals. The minute they enter illegally into this country, they are criminals, and for whatever reason, they're not treated as criminals. The thing that kills me about that too, they talk about this crisis on the border. This is a crisis that, and Barack Obama takes no credit for this, but the fact of the matter is that he deserves all the credit for this. This is a crisis that is man-made by one man, and that's Barack Obama. It's facilitated by people like Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and people like that. And to a great extent, a lot of the conservatives, or I shouldn't say conservatives, a lot of the Republicans that are in power right now, to a great extent, a lot of them are culpable for what's going on in the southern border. I mean, how long has it been that we were supposed to build a fence? I mean, why the fuck hasn't that happened? So, I mean, it's almost like they're all in cahoots together in regards to this. And I still throw my hat in with the Republican Party, only because if you compare the two, they are so much better than the Democratic Party. But I got to be honest with you guys. A pox on both their houses. I think they're both Republicans, the established Republicans, the establishment Republicans and the Democrats. Both parties have not served us as Americans. They've not served their constituents in the least bit. And one thing I do find funny though, and it's kind of hilarious actually, when I see these Democrat governors asking the Obama administration to not bring any of these illegal children, whatever you want to call them, into their state. And I just find it to be absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Where I think they should put them, well, first of all, I think they should send them right the fuck back from where they came. But if they're going to keep them here, there's a place up in Michigan called Dearborn, Michigan. And it's where we put a lot of people that we bring into this country. Dearborn, Michigan has the largest Muslim population in North America, by far. And I think that would be a lovely place for a bunch of Hispanics. Because Hispanics traditionally are Catholics. And Muslims are Muslims. Muslim. Arabs, whatever, they're traditionally Muslim. And and they should get along just fine. They should. Of course, the Muslims in Dearborn like to stone Christians from time to time. So, I don't know, maybe they'll let the kids get a little older before they start stoning them. But listen, this country, as far as immigration goes, is just fucked. It's just fucked. I don't know what we do. I really don't. I don't know what we do. I mean, I talk to some people and they tell me, well, it's not the Border Patrol. I mean, they're doing the best that they can do under their personal rules of engagement, or not. I shouldn't say personal rules of engagement, but their orders of rules of engagement. What they are ordered to do or not to do. There are operating procedures that are dictated by the high-ups, not the average guy that's on the border trying to do his job. If he's told by his superiors that, if you see some kids, pick them up and take them to a welcome center, then that's what they do, because that's their job. I don't know where we go with immigration. I do know one thing, though. Barack Obama, listen, I'm going to tell you something about Barack Obama that I don't think a lot of people really get, and that is that Barack Obama is an honest man to this degree. If he tells you he's going to do something, pretty much bet on that's what's going to happen. He said he was going to bankrupt the coal industry, and that's pretty much what he's done. He said he was going to fundamentally change the United States, and guess what? He kind of has, and is working very hard, very diligently to complete that task. He's got 2 more years to destroy this country. That's a lot of pressure for one man. I mean, 2 years to completely destroy a country that has been at the pinnacle of human existence. There is no country that has achieved more than the United States of America in the history of the world. And of course that depends on how you define achieved. I guess there's an argument to be made that the Roman Empire conquered more land. Same thing could be said for the Third Reich. Same thing could be said for Genghis Khan. It depends on how you define achieved. I define achieved as in doing things like going to the moon, doing things like the amazing advancements in medical treatments. The things that we've been able to do, bringing people out of poverty, although that's a tricky scenario because truthfully, this war on poverty is the only war I've ever seen where there's never been a battle won. You know, and that's a whole different story about the Democrats needing a permanent underclass. We won't get into that in this video. But yeah, I mean, you know, we've done some pretty amazing things on this planet as a civilization, and we've achieved more technically, or technology-wise, we've achieved more than anybody in the history that we know of in the history of human existence. And it's just amazing to me how quickly, it's almost like we were like a shooting star. We burned very bright and made an amazing show, and then I was... But we've done it to ourselves. I mean, apparently, everything between white guilt, you know, crazy liberalism. There's a whole slew of things that have actually hampered us. Political correctness, things that have managed to come together like the perfect storm to destroy this country. So that's immigration. And that's immigration. What else is kind of pissing me off? Well, I got to be honest with you, and I don't know why more people aren't outraged by. And I know this sounds like an old story. I'm not even, actually, you know what, never mind. I'm not going to get into that because that deserves its own video, which will be coming up, I can guarantee you that. What else is going on? Oh, I do want to say, and I know I said I was done with immigration, but I do want to say something about sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities, places like San Francisco, Los Angeles, if you're going to take these refugees, whatever the fuck you want to call them, and dump them somewhere, I think those sanctuary cities is the perfect place. That's exactly what I think. Although it should not come with any federal money, let them foot the bill for all that. Yeah, because my tax money, I mean, I'm not in a sanctuary city. My tax money shouldn't have to subsidize that shit. All right, that's done. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Let's talk a little bit about Russia. You know, Russia, the new Soviet Union. The new Soviet Union under Tsar Putin. I find it interesting. I just seen on the Drudge Report today that Putin was opening up the old Cold War spy base in Cuba. Why not? Why not? They should open up one in Mexico City as well. Or maybe even closer. Maybe, look, from what I understand, our borders are shrinking, so... Not that we have borders, but, you know, the southern border is non-existent. Maybe Russia would like to set up shop, I don't know, just maybe south of Dallas somewhere, you know, 50, 60 miles south of Dallas. You know? I mean, I don't know, it's just a thought. Somewhere around Corpus Christi, maybe. Oh. New Mexico. Anywhere in that state. Yeah, you know. So, yeah, I just find it interesting that Putin and the whole... That whole thing is back on the march. It's just amazing. It's amazing to me to watch history repeating itself. It's amazing to me to watch all the gains that we made during a select part of history completely just fucked. It's amazing to me to watch what Obama has been willing to give up. Obama's, listen, a lot of people say Obama's foreign policy chops are shit. And a lot of them blame the people he's had at the helm of his foreign policy, people like Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, people like the idiot that's Secretary of State now, Herman Munster. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. No, you can't really blame those two people, although incompetent as they are. The truth is, they're just carrying out Hillary. I'm going to talk about her in a minute. They're just carrying out Barack Obama's wishes to destroy this country. To destroy not only this country, but completely fuck the world globally. It's amazing to me how fucked the world is globally. How many regions are now completely just fucking disaster zones that didn't used to be. We've advocated our leadership around the globe. Now, some of my libertarian friends will be like, well, good, we should have. Well, those chickens are coming home to roost, and it's not going to be fun. Luckily, I live in a city that's not really a target for anybody. You know, and if things get really bad, I just go to my house in the hills of Kentucky, and believe me, I can defend that holler. So anyway, let's talk about Hillary real quick, and then I'm going to let this go. Listen. Anybody that wants her to become president, anybody who thinks that they need to vote for Hillary because it's high time we have a woman president, really should remember what happened when they thought it was high time we have a minority president. Nothing good comes from voting for people because of skin color or because of gender or because of any other stupid reasons. You vote for somebody that's the most qualified. We just found out what happens when you elect a community leader that has communist leanings. Not good. Hillary Clinton, listen, I've never forgot that Hillary Clinton, as her and her husband were exiting the White House, they were literally taking with them, robbing the people's house of everything that wasn't nailed down. They literally were stealing the people's property. And nobody said jack shit about it. Well, I shouldn't say that's not true. There were people who did, but it damn sure didn't stop Hillary, and it damn sure didn't stop Bill. Thieves. That's what they were. Thieves. But that was just really the cherry on top of their administration. And the final, and of course the usual pardons of the other criminals and whatnot, which I can't wait to see all the pardons as Obama's leaving. Hopefully Obama will be in shackles and arrested by the Capitol Police and won't have a chance to do any pardoning. But one can only dream. It just but the Hillary thing. I mean, she has a record. By the way, when she was elected to be the senator from New York, I said to myself, what qualifications does this woman have? She's never held political office, ever. For the most part, she has no record of accomplishing anything. Then when she was first lady, she did try an absolute ridiculous attempt of taking over healthcare that did not work. And she had no business doing that anyway. I mean, the first lady of the United States is the nation's hostess. Put on parties for state events, things like that. Maybe did some little charitable things most of that stuff is really photo op crap. But really trying to do policy, trying to fundamentally change our health system when you're first lady of the United States, this is the kind of goofy shit that this woman was doing. So then she becomes senator, and then of course it only makes perfect sense for her to become, Secretary of State, a position, once held by Thomas Jefferson. I mean, really? Secretary of State? And what happened under her tutelage as Secretary of State? And this really deserves its own video too, so I'm going to do a whole nother video on that. But, I mean, Benghazi alone should disqualify her from ever being anything again. Anything again. So the people who mentioned her name as a possible presidential candidate, seriously, are you not done fucking this country? Are you not done fucking this country? Do you not have children or grandchildren? Because your legacy is going to be a legacy of misery for those people. For your children and your grandchildren, your legacy to them is a legacy of absolute freaking misery. Seriously. I don't know how else you can look at it. And here's the other thing. And people are starting to talk about Michelle Obama being a candidate for what the fuck ever. Unless she's running for PTA president or something like that, I don't support that at all. First of all, we need to get past this notion that presidential semen somehow has a magical power. You get injected by it, and the next thing you know, you're qualified to be freaking senators and governors and freaking Secretary of State or president. I mean, really? Really? It just amazes me. Anyway, presidential semen. Let me leave it at that. There may be a President Lewinsky someday. Of course, she didn't swell. Well, never mind. All right, guys, listen, that's all I got. I hope you got some fill of some politics. I will be doing more politics. I don't know as much from the preacher bench, but probably in front of my mic in my office. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. And I'm probably a little rusty on talking about politics. This is probably been way too long of a freaking video, but I don't care. So, anyway, everybody take care. See ya!